Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Courtney. Welcome to the Monopoly Couple YouTube channel. So we are continuing part 2 of
Thank you.
Storytime.
Okay.
So if you haven't watched part 1 about when Nate sent an email to the guy that I was dating, check that out. This is a continuation. And we decided to create this as a part 2, literally during the filming of the first one. So the reason why I wanted to do a part 2 is because some of the things that you were talking about, how you were dealing with frustrations and anger and loss of control, some people would consider that me forcing you into this polyamorous marriage, even though you're monogamous and it's technically a mixed orientation marriage. They consider that because you were not rainbows and sunshines and rolling out the welcome red carpet. Go have a great time, Courtney. That's amazing. Do you think it's possible to be supportive and have your own internal struggles with when somebody wants to change something significantly like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yes is the answer that I believe, and it's the choice I made. I see how people could have that thought though, because when you opened up the marriage or, came out as non-monogamous or polyamorous, however you want to define it, it did feel there was a fundamental shift in our relationship.
Right.
And that it wasn't necessarily me shifting. I was shifting with you, I guess, is probably the best way how I felt. Like I felt that, what we had was gone. It was like up in flames. It was never coming back. Yeah. And that I had a choice. I truly believe this. I had a choice. I could have stayed and worked on the relationship, knowing that it was going to be fundamentally different and never going to be the same again. Or I could have left and separated. And we talked briefly about that in other videos, but that was an incredibly hard choice for me. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I just, read some books and listened to some podcasts and was like, oh, I get it now. Like it took months or years for me to fully kind of understand and to integrate that into our relationship. And so I can see how that comes across, but I had the choice. I could have chosen to not continue, but our relationship was never going to be the same. And so that was hard. It was like having to grieve and mourn and be frustrated by the loss of the thing that we'd had for almost 20 years. And so it wasn't easy, especially for me, because it wasn't me. I don't want to say it wasn't me making the change, but
you weren't championing the
change. I wasn't championing the change. I wasn't leading the way. I wasn't, out front of the change. And so that's a very scary and disconcerting and the feeling of lack of control when you're sort of, again, I don't want to say following. I want to say like, the example I would say is if we were walking together and I was holding Courtney's hand, she was leading the way down the path that forward. We were together and we were going through it at the same time, but I wasn't the one with the first foot forward, I guess, is kind of how I would describe it. So, but I'll stop there.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've had a lot of things in our lives where it's the exact opposite, and so
good. I'm glad you said that.
I don't want to say that it was, I had no control and I couldn't have, held Courtney's hand and steered us a different direction. It's just that in the past, for many of the things that we've done, whether it's from the military or from my profession, that I was the one for sure leading. I don't want to say dragging Courtney along by any means, but it was me out front in my path and my career and my choices that were dictating where we went as a couple, as a family, in our marriage. And so this was just a fundamental shift. And for me, that was really hard because I don't think I realized at the time how much I was leading. But once it is flipped upside down, then you see it from a different perspective. And so that was very challenging for me.
Yeah. Do you think that you've dealt with guilt? Like feeling bad at all? Like that you had been in control for so long and like I had just gone with the...
I don't think I had the ability at the time to feel guilt.
Okay.
I think all of my feelings came out as anger because that's how I coped with a lot of things in my life, whether I was scared or lonely or afraid or hungry or frustrated. It always came out as anger because that was the way I had my coping at the time. Obviously, I've worked on that significantly since then. So I didn't think I understood. I had all those emotions in me, but it only came out one way. And so it was hard for me to grieve something that I think I was grieving, but it came out as anger because the only way I knew how to express emotion was through anger or frustration a lot of times.
Yeah, that's so true. That's such good insight. I'm really proud of you for articulating that in a very well way.
Do you think that's, well, what do you think? 'Cause let's turn it around. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, did I have no control? Do you think you were the only one in control? Or how would you put it?
No, because there's a scene, and we talk about it in the book, not a scene, like it literally was our life, where I say, like, hey, I get if you don't want to do this.
Mhm.
Like, I would not blame you if you don't want to figure this out. Like, it's going to be a lot of work. And you're like, no, I want to do it. Like, I want to be with you. Let's figure it out. And yeah, I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up, well, because was several reasons. We get a lot of comments that from men that, you're being coerced. And we've talked
Mhm.
about this in other videos before. And especially like with the Lily Allen, non-monogamy
Yeah.
by coercion type of thing in her album discussing that. It's been more in the media. But then I thought it was interesting. I wasn't expecting that reaction that you had when you were reading, or I was reading the email you had sent to
Mhm.
Andreas, and like how you're feeling about that. And that's something that people have asked, like, well, have you read my book that, talks about me opening the marriage and our relationship and really my journey from purity culture to polyamory? How are you going to feel about it? Do you anticipate any reactions?
Yeah.
I guess we could save that for another
Yeah, we
video.
could, but I'll just say that I have read the book. Well, the early version
Yeah,
of the
the
book.
first
I
draft.
was the first reader
You
of the first draft,
were.
actually. So, yes, is the answer to that question. So, I haven't seen the most recent version or the published version. I haven't read that one yet, but I read the OG original
Mhm.
draft of the book. So, yes, I am aware of everything that goes in it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you think that would you send the email the same way now? Would you send an email now? Like if we were back in that
Mm,
situation, I'm curious, how would you do anything different?
for that situation, I wouldn't do anything different
Okay.
back then. Now, I would hope that the person you were dating, I had either, well, I would put it more on you, like what you wanted. I think at the time, this is my way of kind of trying to control
Mm,
this scenario. So you were hurting. I feel like I couldn't do anything for it, and so I sent off an email because I could. And the problem with that email is it Andres didn't ask to get an email. I just kind of forced it on him, right? And
yeah.
so it was me like sending an email regardless of what he wanted. And so I don't think I gave him the choice in that. And I don't
Mm,
think that was probably the right way to do it necessarily. I think now, hopefully, you would communicate with whoever you were dating
yeah.
better and ask whether I could send an email first.
Yeah.
That would be the difference, I think.
That's so good of you.
Yeah.
Consent.
Yeah.
Consent.
Yeah, because I don't think I gave him the option to get an email or not.
Yeah.
Whether he wanted it or not, I sent it. He could have, of course, not read it, but
Yeah.
that didn't allow for him to be, I guess, part of the team, part of the
Mhm.
sort of effort that we would do now. And again,
Yeah.
I've in the past when Courtney's dated folks, I've texted with them if I have questions or about scheduling or whatever else it is. So it's gotten a lot better, but
Mhm.
initially, like I think that was my way of trying to control what I could control. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, that's such good insight.
Mhm.
You crushed it in this video.
Crushed it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, because again, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's part of we're a team, right? And so I felt like
Yeah.
that's not a good way of being a teammate. Is just shooting off random email when you're frustrated, even if it's worded fine. It still isn't maybe the best way of kind of dealing with the situation. So
Yeah. Oh, have you guys subscribed? We love your subscriptions. We love your comments and asking good questions and helping us to craft content that is reflective of things you're interested in.
Yeah.
So please share the message. And we are going to have an anonymous question
oh yes,
place because we know that this is very sensitive for some people. So that will be in the show notes where you link to submit anonymous questions. It'll also be in my bio on our Instagram page at the Monopoly Couple. So, and on TikTok and all those places.
Yeah, because even though you may have an anonymous name on YouTube or Instagram,
Yeah.
wherever else it is, like people can still potentially find out
Yeah.
who it is. So we're gonna have a place where you can put in anonymous questions.
Yeah.
Or thoughts, and then we can help to draft content
Yeah.
to answer your questions as best we can. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. And as we always say,
Can't stop, won't stop.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.